Welcome to this Q&A session with Professor Pervez Ghauri, who is the Professor of International Business at the University of Birmingham. Pervez is a specialist in international business and trade agreements, and I'm Mandy Haque, and I'm the International Director at the Greater Birmingham Chambers of Commerce. Today, we're going to be discussing the EU-UK trade deal. What's in it, and what does it mean for businesses? And this is part of the Greater Birmingham Chambers of Commerce's wider work to keep business moving through COVID-19, Brexit and beyond. And to find out more information on all the free resources that we have and the checklists and the events and training to help your business adapt to the new trading arrangements, then please head to our website, which is greaterbirminghamchambers.com/Brexit. So, welcome, Pervez.
Thank you very much.
Lovely to see you. And we did catch up earlier, didn't we? Before the EU-UK trade deal was reached, and now we're here. Now we know some of the content. Yeah. So, Pervez, firstly, I think it would be nice if you could introduce yourself and just tell the audience a little bit about you.
Well, I am a professor of international business in University of Birmingham, but I have been around. I did my PhD in Uppsala University in Sweden on business and trade negotiations. And since then, I have worked some years in Manchester Business School, some years in King's College London, and for the last 5 years, I am in Birmingham. And I do research on business and trade negotiations. I have a couple of books and written few other things.
So you've been kept quite busy recently then, yeah. I would guess. And so, I mean, just for people to understand a little bit, I thought it'd be great if you could just share with us a little bit about what trade deals typically include.
Well, trade deals normally include that if two countries want to trade with each other, then it's better to agree on whether we will charge tariffs and how much. Because when World Trade Organization was put in place for this reason, because some countries were getting together and there was GATT before GATT, General Agreement on Trades and Tariffs, where only few countries were partners and they could agree on how they will trade, but that was only an agreement. It was not enforceable. So nobody could go back or threaten that if you don't follow this, I will take you to court or I will take you. So due to those very loose arrangements, World Trade Organization was put in place a couple of decades ago.
Okay.
And the idea was that there must be some regulatory authority who can look into agreements between countries, that nobody mistreats each other, and that it is enforceable. If one party agrees and does not follow, then they can go back to WTO and they will enforce the agreement. So that's the idea, is that if there is no deal, then the tariffs, other side can charge as much tariffs as want.
Right, okay.
Then the World Trade Organization came with some suggestions that if countries do not have agreements, then maybe they can charge this much or that much or so. But normally, most countries have agreement about each other. But for example, European Union has agreement within Europe, and then they have few other agreements with Canada, Japan, and so on. But then they say that all the countries we do not have any deal or agreement, from them we will charge this much.
Right.
And that has been approved by World Trade Organization. And that means that any country who is not member of EU or who is not having any deal will have to pay so much. For example, 35% on dairy products or 40% on beef or all these type of things. So it is in both parties' interest, both countries' interest to agree on different sectors, that, okay, depending on what I export and what I import, we should agree on how much tariffs we will charge, because trade does not mean sending goods. Trade also means receiving goods, no? It's two-way traffic. So that's why what I can export There are some other things which I have to import. So that's why often I have trade with those countries, deal with those countries from where I know I can get something or that I need, and I know that they can get something from me they need. So that's
Yeah.
trade deal is.
Because many people import to export as well, don't they?
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
So when we're looking at the UK-EU trade deal that's now been done,
Yeah.
what would you say are the key components that businesses should be aware of with that deal?
Yeah, I think first of all, I must say that this is a much, much better than no deal, because no deal would
Okay.
have been a real disaster for UK industry. So it is very, very good for manufacturing, for example, that now they have agreed a couple of very fundamental things, which is very important. Because if I am trying to export to UK, anything, and if I have a deal with them that I can export tariff free, but if parts of my products are imported from a third country, then I cannot claim this is a British product. And that means Europe has a right to charge me tariffs. So one thing which is good here is that UK has agreed with Europe that all the parts they import from European countries should be considered British parts. So that means if I am producing a car here and all the batteries or tires or whatever, paints or whatever, there are many things, hundreds of things which we import to make a product. If they are coming from Europe, I don't have to worry. I can still export. But if there is anything coming from out of Europe countries, let's say batteries from Japan or gearboxes from Korea, South Korea. So that means so all the components which will come from outside UK and Europe will be considered not British product. That means if I have 40% or more components of my pre-finished product, which are coming from outside Europe and UK, then I will have to pay tariff. I export that car to UK. So now manufacturing companies have to be very careful.
And this is all about the rules of origin that we've heard spoken about so much, haven't we?
Yeah.
And this is
why country of origin things. So that is the thing.
Yeah. And it was so important that a deal was done to ensure that, the tariffs are not charged. But there's, I suppose at the moment, because this is also new, because bearing in mind, when did we hear about the UK-EU trade deal? It actually came out, was it Christmas Eve?
Yeah.
To be implemented on New Year's Eve. So people are just starting to try to get their head around what this really means for them, aren't they, with regards to the rules of origin. I mean, I know we've had some queries, today about that, and people, being concerned about what they're shipping and does it qualify. So
this is the thing, that 40%, up to 40%, less than 40%, it should be from outside Europe or UK. If it is 40% or more, then your product will be charged tariffs. So, and that is a country of origin, that is a local content rule. They are called local content rule that EU has with everybody. So, and America has also. If you want to export or import from America, they have also, I think 64% or something has to be from your own country. Then it is considered product from your country. Otherwise, it's not product from your country, and then you are liable for charges, tariffs.
Okay. So in terms of trade in goods, and the UK is no longer obviously a part of the EU customs union and the single market, and this means that there'll no longer be frictionless trade, and businesses face new customs checks, don't they, when they're trading with the EU. And even though there is a free trade agreement in place, which we've just now discussed with that, but what new customs controls and formalities do UK businesses need to comply with now when trading with the EU?
Yeah, as we discussed about local content rules, there are
Yeah.
also some other rules that I am exporting what I have agreed, what sectors I have agreed. So that means both parties have right to check on the border that whether they are importing or not. That's because of that right to check. That means that exporters and importers have to fill in lots of forms and certificates. So they have to have
Yeah.
certificates of origin and this and that. And so that means there will be frictions in the sense that there will be delays on
Hmm.
the road, and everybody, all the drivers taking the goods should have a certificate of this, certificate of that, and so on. And that, although they might not check all of them, but they have right to check. So that
Yeah.
means there are some estimates are saying it can take up to 30 minutes per truck to cross. And as you know, there are thousands of trucks that cross every day,
Yes.
come and go. So that means it can be lots of delays, and for fresh products and this and that. So this is the situation that it will be a little bit friction, but there is one more very important thing that EU and UK have agreed that for first 3 months we will be lenient. We will not check so much. So they have a 3 months
Hmm.
under which they have to put systems in place, and so that's the thing.
And this is to do with customs declarations, are
Customs
one of the key
declaration.
points, aren't they? That people, and I know a lot of people before Christmas, they were thinking about, well, we really want a deal, that they expected it all to sort of happen without any changes if there was a deal. However, as you've just mentioned there's still the customs clearance and formalities that, whether if there was a deal or not, still have to be done, don't they? And
Yeah,
it's about people being prepared for that and
yeah.
knowing that they must do these now and check. So yeah, I mean, we've got all of the free support and help on our website, as I said before, where people can find out about those. Um, well, I think with goods then, I mean, we covered goods in the previous Q&A, and now obviously this, we've got the content in the trade agreement about it, and we're glad that we've got the deal then. So we now understand about the tariffs and what that means,
Yeah.
don't we? So we're okay with that. But I mean, the UK is predominantly a services-based economy, isn't it, as well? And I know what I've picked up on is the fact that, what is in the agreement for all of our companies that are trading with the EU that are providing services? And, are there any provisions in this agreement to support trading services? And, what restrictions will UK businesses be facing right now? Now we've left. And I think, if we can try to understand a little bit more about the issues that they may be currently facing and get your perspective on that, I think that will be really helpful.
Yeah. So first of all, just as you already said, to discuss the importance of services for UK. So 80% of UK's economy is based on services. 80%.
Wow.
So that means, but the funny thing is, or interesting thing is, the services have not been negotiated yet in this deal. Services are not part. There are few services I will talk about, which are, but services have to still to be agreed. This means that even after this deal, the bankers, the insurance companies, the accountants, and all these people are not able to sell their services into Europe. So if there is a huge project coming in European Union, architect companies cannot do that because if there is no deal, because so far there is no deal, if there is no deal, then they first have to get approved that they are a company that can be approved by EU to be able to bid in EU. So that is the thing. All the investment banking or insurance companies will not be able to do business in European Union as it stands now. So this is one thing. So this means that what they have agreed that after this deal on goods is done, within 2021 or early 2021, we should sit down again and discuss services. So only half of the job is done. But in my opinion, if you go back to my 80% thing, more than half of the job is still to be done. So that means they still have to do negotiations on services.
So even though businesses in the UK will have existing clients in the EU, this will really affect them.
I think so. I think so. It will affect them, or they will have to ask. So they have 3 months. They have said that for the coming 3 months, we will be lenient with everything. Everything can work as it is. And within 3 months, so if I am UK negotiator, I will try to deal or negotiate within those 3 months, deal with for services. Because after 3 months, it is as you say, they will not, or they will have to pay charges. So of course, you can always do business, but then you have to pay tariffs or taxes or whatever. One thing which is good is also about services is that all the trucks and lorries who take the goods and etc., they have still been allowed to do that. So hauliers are not influenced. So, because that is also a service, no?
Well, yes.
So they will still be able to take goods there and bring goods and so on. And airline industry.
Yeah, I was going to say air transport is key,
Air
isn't
transport is still there, but there is a restriction. What is agreed now is that earlier within Europe, you can pick up from passengers from wherever and drop wherever. You know, BA could pick up the passengers from Paris and drop in Frankfurt. No,
Yeah.
But now they cannot do that. Now they can go to Europe, any country in Europe, and come back, but and bring the passenger from Paris and Frankfurt. But within Europe, they cannot do that.
Mm.
You understand?
So, I do, yeah. So that's transit flights, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. So that's the situation. So there are some things, but there is still things to be agreed.
So what we were saying before was, okay, we were getting to the end of this 4.5 years of negotiating, but it sounds like this is just the beginning.
Yeah, it's just the beginning. And mind you, this agreement is for 5 years, sort of.
Okay.
So many sectors, for example, fisheries, which have been so much in discussion and so much the cause of delays, is just for 5.5 years. After 5.5 years, they will have to negotiate every year new contract.
Did
so
you
it's
pick?
A never-ending story.
It is, isn't it? I mean, did you pick anything up about musicians and touring and how
No, they cannot. They cannot.
Yeah.
Unless the agreement is made, they cannot. Otherwise, they will have to first apply for a permit. No, like people, immigrants apply for work permit, they will have to apply for work permit. And if they will be given work permit for this much or that much, so they say that experts and top level managers can come and work for 3 years, or junior managers can also, if they have been given permission, can work for 90 days or 1 year or so. So there are these provisions, but musicians, etc., that is the services. So that means they will have to apply for permit. And might even have to apply for permit from each country they go to.
Well, yes, I mean that's feasible, isn't it? I suppose, with individual rules. Yeah, that's really interesting. There are other sectors, I imagine, that are also affected in that way then?
Which one?
Other sectors that are affected in that way.
Oh yeah, many sectors.
Yeah,
all services
filming.
Sectors. All service sectors. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Well, we'll have to see how all of that plays out then, really, won't we? I mean, that's really interesting. Okay, if there was one thing that we could leave our members with, just one piece of advice or insight from yourself, for them to take away from today's Q&A, what would you say that would be?
I think if you are a manufacturing company, you have to look into your local content rule or these type of things, that how much of your components are coming from within EU and UK, And if they are not coming, you have to find new suppliers within EU or within UK. Otherwise, your product will be subject to tariffs. No.
Okay.
So this is the first thing you have to check.
So this is about the rules of origin. Where
Manufacturing
are your
companies.
Yeah, where are your components coming from?
Yeah.
To be able to take advantage or not of the tariffs and the trade deal. Okay.
Yeah. Because many of automobile parts come from South Korea and Japan, for example. And then you have to see how your manufactured product will be influenced.
Sure.
Then if you are a services company, I am not sure. I think there are some banking, for example, they have a lobby group, city something, city, but so the services sector should talk to the government so that in the coming negotiation for services, they're interested.
And we will certainly as well, be lobbying to get that support for, the service industry as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Right. Well, so I'm sure we're going to be meeting again then, aren't we?
It looks like it.
As things progress, and let's see what new questions we can come out with for you, because I mean, just on a personal note, Pervez, how much of your time has this taken up, this whole, of your role?
No, but we do normally we do research for research sake, sort of. No, we keep on doing our research, and we have we publish things and those type of things. This is part of our job as a professor. Every professor has a special area, specialty, and then they keep on doing research in that area, whether something happens or not happens. If there was no Brexit, I might be studying some other negotiations, no? Or big projects. So earlier I used to study mega projects when companies take contract or to build a bridge or build a hospital or build a nuclear plant or these type of things. So we are always busy. So we have to do our research. We keep on doing that. So, but for the last 2 or 3 years, I have been doing lot of things on Brexit.
Yeah, so it's taken up a lot of your time, and I'm sure it's going to take up a lot more of your time by the sounds of it as well then for the future.
Yeah. We will see how it goes with services, because that's very, very important for you.
Absolutely. I mean, that is a bit concerning, isn't it? We need to make sure that we keep on top of what's going on there so that we can get the information out to our members.
Yeah. Interestingly, services sector is the only sector where UK had a big surplus in trade.
Okay.
In the manufacturing sector, or goods sector, they were in a deficit, a little bit, but in services they were in surplus. So UK makes, in other words, what I'm trying to say is UK makes lots of money from services.
So how about people? I mean, we haven't touched on the people and recruitment and qualifications and all of that side of it. I mean, can you share some of your thoughts on what is in the UKEU trade deal regarding people or not, and what the impact is for us?
Well, first of all, of course, we can still travel as a tourist without visa. So this is maybe good news for most people. Because we can still, for up to 90 days, we can go and come as we want as a tourist.
But that has been reduced, hasn't it?
No, I don't think
it's 90 days now, isn't it? But we used to have free movement, yeah?
Oh, that earlier you could stay as long as. So now, not more than 90 days. And that is as a tourist. You are not doing any job there or work or anything.
Okay.
If you want to do a work there, you have to ask for a work permit. So if you are sent by your company, like if Sainsbury opens a branch and send me as a manager, and then of course the Sainsbury will ask for my permit, and then I can work for up to 3 years. So specialists or senior managers can work for up to 3 years. For trainees and very junior people, maybe up to 1 year, I can work. But I still have to apply for it. No, I will get the permit.
Okay.
On short term, if I want to do business there, I still have to apply for a permit that I am going to come and do business, or I am such a businessman that I come and go all the time. No, so I do business there. If I am a businessman and I want to go do business there, then I can stay maximum of 90 days per year. I cannot,
Okay.
I cannot stay in any European country more than 90 days in one particular year. So that is also so this is the situation. This will be the same this way or that way. But the biggest
Okay.
problem coming from a university, I think the biggest problem here is that degrees and professional qualifications are not recognized in each other. This is a
What
very
does
big
this
blow.
mean then?
This means if I am trained as a doctor or a surgeon or whatever in Germany or in France, I cannot automatically come and work in UK and vice versa. And if I'm trained and graduated from UK, I cannot just take my degree and go work there, which is the case now within the European Union. No? So that means that my qualification has to be recognized by them. By recognized by them mean that they might ask me to do a couple of more tests or a couple of more exams. UK will do the same. UK will do the same. UK used to do it before also, before they went to EU. That anybody, any doctor who is trained in Poland or Germany, or if they want to come and work here, they will have to do a couple of tests, give a couple of exams, and if they pass, they can start working there. So this is a big issue. But this is even more for nurses, for architects, for dentists, for pharmacists. All qualifications are not automatically recognized, which I think is not very good, because that was the biggest freedom we professionals had. No?
So what does it mean for those that are currently working in the EU that are
But
British?
or
So,
the other way around. Yeah, the thing is that those people who have been working for longer times or in UK, the UK does the same, no? So if, for example, I came from Sweden and I have Swedish nationality, but I have been living here for many years. So anybody who has been living here for 5 years or more, we could have to go and apply for a national residence status. So I had to apply. So we applied and we got within 1 week or so. No problem, just online and it comes. So those people who have been living here for longer period, longer mean 5 years or more, or maybe even 3 years or more, they have nothing to worry about on both sides, on both sides. But those people who are coming new or have not lived here for longer, have lived here just 1 year or two, they have to apply. And if the government gives them work permit or not, that is up to them. No, so and the new people, they have to first get the work permit and then come.
I see. And so if we have people that are currently working over here that have been over just say for a year and they haven't already applied for that residency permit, did you say?
Yeah.
Then they need to do that quite urgently.
Oh, they have to do that quickly. They
Yeah.
must have done that by now. They
Okay,
should do
so
that.
if they haven't done it, can they still do it?
Yeah. I think you can always do that, but I don't know how long it will take and how government will treat it.
Okay.
But they should always do it as soon as they can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And the other way around also, all the Britishers who are working in Europe also, the same thing, no? They will have to apply for it.
So would it be fair to say then that recruiting from the EU is a bit more challenging right now?
Yeah, quite difficult, I would say.
Okay.
Because you
And
first have to take the permission and then the job.
okay, so it can still happen, but it just might be more of a slower process at the moment because they've got to
of
go
course.
through.
Yeah, the companies will apply. For example, if a company opens a branch in UK, then they will apply for the work permit for so many or managers or so that they want to send with it. As I said, gave example of Sainsbury. If Sainsbury opens a branch, France, then the Sainsbury will apply for its manager to go with them, and that will happen. Not a problem. So,
okay.
yeah.
Is there anything that you would say that, again, you would like members to be left with regarding people? And, you know, that's certainly with regards to the qualifications that you said and what they need to be aware of. Is there one, you know, key element that you would like them to remember to go and do?
Another positive thing is that it has been agreed that the healthcare system that we have as a tourist, that will still stay. So UK tourists going to Europe and European tourists coming here, if they get sick or so, they will still have that covered. So that is a very, very good thing. But something which is not, again, this is my university background, is not so good is that we are no longer part of Erasmus students, Erasmus exchanges, which is not very good. Because earlier, you know, European Union used to spend out thousands of people to each other's countries so that they could, and European Union financed that.
Yes.
They financed for everything, living cost, everything. And that was very, very good to enhance the mutual understanding about each other. So that is no longer there.
So thinking about that, I mean, is it feasible then that for the future there could be a UK programme of sorts like that would have to be developed to enable that to continue?
Yeah, that's what UK has said. That is what they have said, that we will start our own exchange system. But then UK will have to finance it, or UK will have to have a separate parallel going system going, and which I believe will be open for all over the world, not just European Union. I hope. So yeah, that's what is the situation now. That's what UK has said, that we will start our own exchange program.
Thank
which
you.
I think they believe that they will open it for everybody. Yeah.
Well, let's see how we go on from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And okay, well, thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
It's been very insightful, and it's a hugely important topic for business, as we know, and it's not going away. We still need to make sure that we keep on top of all of the information and what new develops through it.
Yeah.
So thank you. And as I said at the start, if you're looking for more information and support on what the end of the Brexit transition period means for businesses, then please do go to the website greaterbirminghamchambers.com/Brexit. And thank you very much again, Professor Pervez Ghauri.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.